Did a new study find smoking marijuana causes complete remission in patients with Crohn's disease, and did it do all that without side effects? No, that's not exactly true. The new study dates back from 2013. It only compared 11 cannabis-smoking patients with 10 non-cannabis smoking patients, since it was just a limited pilot study, and while there were indeed some cannabis-smoking patients who achieved complete remission, not all of them, their symptoms returned after the trial ended. There were also several side effects reported: sleepiness, nausea, and confusion. The study authors indicated several results were not statistically significant enough to draw definitive conclusions due to the low number of participants in the study. The story has been copied by several websites over the years, but a version published by a site named UK Health Expert on September 21, 2019 recently went viral again, titled "Smoking Marijuana Causes Complete Remission of Crohn's Disease, No Side Effects, New Study Shows." UK Health Expert, which opened, quote, "Marijuana, scientific name cannabis, performed like a champ in the first-ever placebo-controlled trial of the drug to treat Crohn's disease, also known as inflammatory bowel disease. The disease of the digestive tract afflicts 400,000 to 600,000 people in North America alone, causing abdominal pain, diarrhea, which can be bloody, severe vomiting, weight loss, as well as secondary skin rashes, arthritis, inflammation of the eye, tiredness, and lack of concentration. Smoking pot caused a complete remission of Crohn's disease compared to placebo in half the patients who lit up for 8 weeks, according to clinical trial data to be published the journal Clinical Gastroenterology and Hepatology." End quote. Users on social media only saw this title, description and thumbnail. Quote, "Smoking marijuana causes complete remission of Crohn's disease, no side effects, new study shows." UK Health Expert. Marijuana, scientific name cannabis, performed like a champ in the first-ever placebo-controlled trial of the drug to treat Crohn's disease, also known as inflammatory bowel disease. The disease of the digestive tract afflicts 400,000 to 600,000 people in North America alone, causing abdominal pain, diarrhea, which can be bloody, severe vomiting, weight loss, as smoking marijuana causes complete remission of Crohn's disease, no side effects, new study shows. Read more. End quote. Let's look at some of the claims in the article, the most obvious one first. Is this really a new study? The original study, full text here, came out in 2013 and was labeled as prospective, i.e. intended to do a limited test to see if something is worth investigating further. Quote, "Cannabis induces a clinical response in patients with Crohn's disease, a prospective placebo-controlled study." Background and aims. The marijuana plant Cannabis sativa has been reported to produce beneficial effects for patients with inflammatory bowel diseases, but this has not been investigated in controlled trials. We performed a prospective trial to determine whether cannabis can induce remission in patients with Crohn's disease. End quote. So it isn't very new. Smoking pot caused a complete remission in half the patients. This is indeed what the summary of the study says in the methods and results sections. Quote, "Methods: We studied 21 patients, mean age 40 plus or minus 14y, 13 men, with Crohn's disease activity index (CDAI) scores greater than 200 who did not respond to therapy with steroids, immunomodulators, or anti-tumor necrosis factor alpha agents. Patients were assigned randomly to groups given cannabis, twice daily, in the form of cigarettes containing 115 mg of delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol (THC) or placebo containing cannabis flowers from which the THC had been extracted. Disease activity and laboratory tests were assessed during 8 weeks of treatment and 2 weeks thereafter. Results: complete remission CDAI score, an LT, 150 was achieved by 5 of 11 subjects in the cannabis group 45% and 1 of 10 in the placebo group 10%, p equals 0.43. A clinical response decrease in CDAI score of NGT 100 was observed in 10 of 11 subjects in the cannabis group 90%, from 330 plus or minus 105 to 152 plus or minus 109, and 4 of 10 in the placebo group 40%, from 373 plus or minus 94 to 306 plus or minus 143, p equals 0.028. 3 patients in the cannabis group were weaned from steroid dependency. Subjects receiving cannabis reported improved appetite and sleep, with no significant side effects. End quote. But there are several important points that need to be made with respect to these results. Only 21 people were included in the test and only 11 of them got the cannabis treatment. As the researchers themselves point out further in the paper, in the discussion section. Quote, "The primary end point of this study was induction of remission.